Who inspires you the most?
Inspires me the most. Inspires me the most. I can't go with like a religious. You can't go with Jesus right here. We're looking for a person who inspires me. Let's get back to that.
Okay.
If I say John Cena, people will turn off this thing en masse.
We'll skip that. Okay. If you could trade places with one person, who would it be?
I don't have rapid fire answers to these things.
You can answer them deep and philosophical if need be.
Deep and philosophical.
Yeah.
If I could trade places with one person. Third question.
Okay.
Who
makes you laugh the most?
Who makes me laugh the most? Larry David makes me cringe laugh the most. Laughing while cringing. Yeah, I think some of that stuff is really good. Yeah. We'll go with Larry David.
Okay. Who is the last person you called or texted? And Nate from New Jersey doesn't count.
Let me see. Last person I called. Let me see the last text I sent. It was a friend from college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a friend from college who did the documentary with me about Dominic DeNucci's wrestling school. And the little backstory there is I bring her, a very good friend from Cortland, New York, to Pittsburgh. And I thought $40 was too much to ask for a motel. And so I made her sleep in the car, which seemed like the gentlemanly thing to do. So we got home after this thing, and she didn't talk to me for a week. And I finally went over and I said, "Did I do something wrong?" And she went, "You made me sleep in a car, Mickey. I slept in a car." I try to learn from my mistakes. So that would be Deb Christensen.
Okay.
Well, no, and there's a Jeremy Borash thing, and there is a WWE message. 203 area code. Not at liberty to talk about that right now, though.
Ooh. Okay, who is your favorite filmmaker or director?
Oh man, favorite filmmaker or director. I mean, you can't go wrong with Scorsese.
Yeah.
Right? You can't go wrong with Scorsese. I'm trying to think of somebody else whose style I like Ron Howard. Howard, I think, does a tremendous job telling stories. I'll have to do research to find out the movies I love the most and like the common thread that they had there. Those are two pretty good answers, I think.
Yeah, I think definitely. What's the last book you read?
I'm reading Jim Ross's Slobberknocker on the tales of Chris Jericho's No is a four-letter word.
Keeping the family, okay.
And I alternate between that and Santaology by Stephen Gillam.
Oh yeah, which you talk about in
Yeah,
the book.
I talk about the book. Yeah, he really opened my eyes to the idea of visual effects. Mm-hmm. So that, I have a box of fairy dust. It's just magical. And, there's this scene, when I was at the Children's Hospital Pittsburgh, and they told me this little girl's in quarantine, she can't see anybody. You can only say hello from the doorway. So I had a conversation from the doorway, and I said, would you like to, I'd give her the backstory. Would you like to see want me to open the box? And she went like this, and I open it up, and it's all illuminated. And I'll never, just looked here. There's a little girl, doesn't have family there, can't see anyone. She goes, "That's awesome." And I walked outside the room, and I had to compose myself. And the WWE personnel woman who had come there said, "Are you all right?" I said, "I just feel so fortunate to be in a place where I could spread that type of joy. Like for that 1 month out of the year, like I am John Cena. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the kind of power that red suit wields,
Yeah.
without all the working out." So
what's one thing that you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Hold on a second. Who directed The Green Mile? The Danabout, Frank
Darabont?
Frank Darabont.
And he was one of the creators of the Walking Dead show.
Was he really?
He was, yeah. There's no Lucille in The Green Mile.
Because there is a scene in The Green Mile gets me every time. And I had a chance to talk with Michael Clarke Duncan about
Oh,
it.
wow.
You know, there's actually, I remember I was talking to Al Snow about this movie and how much I loved it. He said, you met him? And I said, how could I forget him? And so there's a scene in one, I think it's in For All Mankind, where I just go over, I randomly hug this massive human being, Michael Clarke Duncan, but after Percy, the little no good, the guard, he crushes Dell's mouse, you know, and you actually hear the bone, like spine, and then that voice say, "Bring him to me, boss."
Yeah.
And it starts getting this, you know, I start getting the forehead, you know, going up here, the tingle, and then he puts that mouse in his hand, and it starts glowing, and then here comes the music and the lights, and the big key is they do a cutaway reaction shot to David Morse, who's an incredible actor, and he gives a GC. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, and man, it connects with me every time. So I'll go with Frank Darabont.
That's a good movie.
There you go.
Good call. Yeah.
There you go.
So what's one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
I don't necessarily refrigerate my apples, but I have to have apples. I am a.
It's a very healthy choice.
Foley admits to apple haul, and but they need to be. I don't mean to be all like artsy, but I like them organic just because they taste so much better. Because apples have a thin skin. It's not like an orange where they can put battery acid and you just peel the thing, you're all right. Apples got a thin skin, you wash it good. Yeah, I'll eat 3 or 4 a day.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pastime?
Scrapbooking. So the thing I was trying to find in here was a little article where I said I was making some great scrapbook pages of Santa's visit to our house, 2012. I said, okay, for all you guys out there, you know, who are fishermen and hunters and ride muscle cars and want to question my guy credentials, I've got some VHS tapes of me suffering greatly in Japan, tied up in barbed wire, landing on explosions. So while you're watching that, I'll be over here, scrapbooking. Yeah, I do. I still love the idea of telling stories, whether it's in the ring, which I'm really not capable of doing anymore, although we did somewhat, you know, as a general manager. And I think Stephanie and I told a nice story on our way out. But just through the pictures, the photos, and the stories they tell. And what's nice now, and honestly, part of the reason I wrote the book is so that I could fill in some of the blanks with passages in the book, so that when it's 50, 60 years down the line, it's not just photos, they're photos with stories.
What is your dream car?
I remember when Cena and a couple of guys were in the back of the bus on a rare overseas tour I was on, and they were talking muscle cars, and they're like, "Hey Vic, what do you drive?" I was like, 2002 Chevy Venture. You probably don't need to be part of that conversation. So I went to, old Russ has bit the dust, right? My kids won't let me auction it off, even if they're wrestlers for Puerto Rico auction. They're like, no, it's not your responsibility to help everyone, which is not the message I'm trying to pass on as a father. But I went and I was at the car dealer, and I texted my wife, said, just so you know, I'm getting a minivan. And she said, oh my God, no. And then I had pointed out some things I'd done for her recently. She said, okay, just as long as it's not red. And I went, oh, it's red. It's very red. And then I slapped the Santa Patrol magnet on there on the side, you know, so that there's no question that I have, you know, legal jurisdiction from the big guy himself. So yeah, I don't have a dream car. I'm driving it as far as I'm concerned.
A red Santa van.
Yeah, it's a red Santa van.
What is your, and you can't say apples, what is your secret snack?
Secret snack? It's the RX bar. They have 4 ingredients. It says 2 dates, 3 egg whites, 6 cashews, no BS. And a lot of you know that I was considerably heftier, you know, a year and a half ago. And if you find that there's some things you like that are nutritious, they could really help you out. The problem I'm encountering now is, I'm not trying to exaggerate this knee pain, but it hurts. It prevents you from sleeping. And apparently, your brain will make deals with your body when it's 4 a.m. and you convince yourself that the cinnamon and the cinnamon toast crunch is a very valuable, like, well, the milk, God, you need strong bones, like 4 bowls of cereal, that's good. So I have been fighting these late night cravings and failing, and I was just so lucky I was in a hotel that didn't have a vending machine, because when I couldn't sleep last night, I went on the rampage and there was nothing there. Nothing there. So I had a protein bar, so there you go.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. I hope to be continuing to do this work that I do. I'm really fortunate that...
You mean in terms of Santa work?
Yeah, being... I'm really fortunate that I can, make my own schedule, that I can... this year, the entire month of December, I'm able to take off, so I load up with all these great causes and special visits. I'm never in a position where I'm, at a party and someone's bossing me around, because I've been there with the communions and the birthday parties and the bar mitzvahs. And most of the time, people are very nice, but there are a few times they make it really clear you're working for them, and you're going to listen to them. And so if I could take myself out of that environment and be like, "Hey, dude, I'm a volunteer." Like, well, first of all, as Santa, I wouldn't say, "Hey, dude." I go, "Oh, hey, dude." I love doing that stuff, and I don't know what I'll be doing. Like, I imagine in some way, I'm like tied to the hip with wrestling in some way. It's nice that I did just get a call for something really interesting from WWE.
That's breaking news.
Breaking news.
Live signing.
Breaking news. Foley gets interesting text message. But hopefully I'm home a lot, and doing something that I love.
Good answer. What item would you love to get your hands on if it went up for auction?
Can I plug my Wrestlers for Puerto Rico auction here?
Yeah, absolutely. This is your live signing.
It was originally Foley for Puerto Rico, and then I started having other people in the business reaching out saying, like, Lindsay Dorado is from PR. He makes his own tights. He's a great cruiserweight for WWE. He asked if he could donate that. Donovan Dijak, who's a new sign for NXT, but has been a great independent wrestler. Like, never seen a bad match. He wanted to donate something. A few of the women, especially women, with Puerto Rican ancestry, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a little more time, make it a little more intricate, and we're going to make this hashtag Wrestlers for Puerto Rico. So we're going to go live after Raw on October 23rd. And every day I'm getting cool stuff, like Becky Lynch just sent something. Miss Charlotte just sent something. Something showed up from Jim Ross and James Ellsworth and Lillian Garcia and Natalia. So we probably have about 20 people participating.
That's great.
What would I like to grab at auction? I go back, just read into this what you will. I didn't know, sleeping has been a problem for me. I didn't know that Ambien had this sleepwalking thing, right? So I'm under orders to never take Ambien again after my son apparently watched me eat like 7 or 8 courses in my sleep without ever acknowledging it. So I died. No, you can never, ever take that again. But one of the things that I did is I just learned to use the internet, and I was going on eBay and making purchases in my sleep, and I was buying the books my mother used to read to me when I was a child. So there's some deep stuff in there, but I don't particularly I don't think I need anything. Like, I don't. I even when my kids say, "What do you want for Christmas?" Just make me something, because I don't know. Making something, you're putting your time and thought in. It's like the Christmas morning, go, isn't this beautiful? And then seeing it on your American Express bill, it's not quite the same thing. It's not quite the same thing. So I just like people to make me something.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
That guy in The Walking Dead. No, that's not really a pet peeve. I shouldn't say this, but I worked really hard, on my one-man show. And I was talking with a Canadian comic yesterday, Michelle O'Shaughnessy, and she was in the crowd. And when I did my panel, and I talked about there are nights when you just wish a hole would open up in the stage, you can crawl in there. And so it's a little bit of a pet peeve that so many wrestlers get booked for Q&As, which doesn't show any commitment. Like, I know it's what fans want, but I like people to know that when I get up there, it's something I've worked on and failed at and learned from and try every night to make better. I guess it'd be along a pet peeve of a guy who doesn't write a book and claims he did.
Right.
So, which in school is known as cheating. Like, you get thrown out of school, you get suspended for cheating and plagiarizing, and here you get, you get to brag about it.
Okay. What is your
That was the ugly part of me rearing my head. But it does bother me a little bit. I just think people should know what it's like to fail monumentally. You certainly don't get in the ring and become a superstar without failing on grand levels. And I just think people should know what it's like to fail up there. And so they can better appreciate not failing.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
I kind of like it all, I do. I do like it all. And,
everything's a good answer.
Everything's a good answer. I like the ethnic. I haven't found an ethnic cuisine that I do not like. When I moved down south, though, as soon as I got to like D.C., my mouth would start salivating over the New York pizza. And so somebody said that, like, The Rock and I were doing a lot of work for WWE publicity-wise in '99. They said the major difference between me and The Rock was The Rock wanted to have the best steak in town, and I wanted 2 slices of pizza. A pizza. I believe as part of this promotional tour, I'm going on a pizza tasting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Later today.
I'm all in there. Later today.
Barstool Sports. Their pizza review.
Pizza review. Yeah. So those are my favorites. But I do have the sweet tooth.
Yeah.
I know I claimed it was Vinny who had the sweet tooth when Yurple visited the hospital room. By the way, I just want to mention Wrestlers Puerto Rico. The Rock is in.
Oh, hey. Is that breaking news?
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Hey.
The Rock is in. I just have to find the right thing. I don't know whether it should be an original, like a piece of artwork they signs, but one of the things I'm thinking of, This Is Your Life. It's Rock, me, and Yurple. And you could have some stuff that Rock has signed. Every once in a while you see something I've signed with The Rock, but there is no Rock, me, Yurple.
That's like getting a baseball signed by like Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Duke Snyder.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen very much.
Okay, what's the last movie you saw in theaters?
In theaters. Hold on. I know there's one bit after this. Let me just say, Wonder Woman was one of the great cinematic experiences I've ever had. For anyone who reads this book and knows, there's a funny line in here where my son, Huey, he sees me working on my Santa show. And he goes, Dad, how much are you charging for that? And I said, well, I'm not charging. But how can you not charge? You're Mick Foley. So first of all, I'm not doing the show as Mick Foley. Like, I'm Santa. And second of all, like, no one knows what storytelling with Santa is. They think I'm probably just going to read. He goes, but still, you're putting so much work into it. You're spending money. You're buying props. I said, I'll tell you, 10 few years from now, if word gets around, I have a show, maybe that. But for now, there's no admission. He goes, oh, Dad, you make so many mistakes. And I brought my kids to my show and didn't have a PR system. The library is spread out, so there are people everywhere, people who can't hear, and then I make the mistake of start taking questions from the audience. And this one girl stands up and goes, yes, I saw Real Santa last year. And Real Santa, and she must have said Real Santa 10 times. And every time she's saying Real Santa, what she's saying subliminally is, you're not the real Santa. Right. And I'm nodding my head, but what I'm thinking to myself is I'm getting like 1995 ECW Cactus Jack promos in my head. And what I really want to say is, listen, kid, you show me a picture of that Real Santa, and I'll show you your old man in a $20 Party City outfit. I grow this beard for 11 months. I had such a sinking feeling. I took all the photos, and people thought it went okay. But I'm driving home, and I've got three of my children with me: Noel, Noel, Mickey, and Huey. Not a word. In the book, I said I think the Atlanta Falcons bus ride home had more joy in that car than I did. And about halfway home, he goes, "Well, Dad, you were right." I went, "What was I right about, buddy?" He goes, "You should not be charging admission for that show." So, in the theater, Wonder Woman. If you haven't seen it, you need to. Yeah. There's a scene where she bursts out of the trench in World War I, right? And it's like, to me, it's like the 14th round of the first Rocky, but prolonged. It's like a sustained. And if Gal's watching, and I know, no, I don't think she's a fan, but it moved me. And I'm there, I'm in the moment, I'm so absorbed, and all of a sudden, we're in a crowded theater, and I hear my son going, "Dad, are you crying?" I don't think so. It looks to me like you're crying. It's like, he won't leave me alone. Yeah, but that was amazing. Yeah, that was an amazing movie-going experience.
Okay, this one's really serious. What color is your toothbrush?
You know what we don't do a good job writing our names. I don't know if the Foley kids know that I just randomly pick out a toothbrush, not knowing if it's mine or not. And I forever show up.
I hope they're learning that right now, because you're gonna have some questions answered.
I'm forever showing up at the hotels. Going, by the way, do you have the little travel toothbrush kit? And there was one. It was someone's book where they mentioned that WWE had us doing publicity. We cover our own charges when we're doing our own thing. Publicity, WWE puts you up. Very nice. And I did find out, this is the first time I'm doing the tour with a smaller publisher. Maybe the hotels are not quite as nice as the ones. Maybe it wasn't the most pleasant experience. Shoes stayed on.
Oh,
yeah. So, no, I'm not blaming you, but
okay.
It was the worst hotel I've stayed in many years, Jason.
Whoa.
So.
Oh, man.
It's all going down live. So what was the question? I'm so blinded by my rage right now. What was the question?
What color is your toothbrush?
Oh, yeah. So I just generally find one that works. And once in a while, I'll go into the memorabilia box and I'll take out the Mankind toothbrush. What better way to get children excited about their dental health than with a toothbrush of a guy known for missing teeth, right?
Do you have any hidden talents?
I'm going to show you one right here, okay? Show you there. Maybe we can do it here. See, while you guys are out there in the monster trucks, four-wheel drives, hunting, fishing, I do calligraphy. Isn't that nice?
That is hardcore. and I've seen him, and I've seen you do it too. Like longer. I was impressed.
Well, you know, it comes down to I had the amazing Jill Thompson, who has done two of my children's books, and done that iconic CM Punk T-shirt. You know, an illustration of CM Punk that was sold so well. And I saw some generic Santa stationery. And I said, Jill, do you think you can make this look more like me? And she's like, I can do much better than this. She came with this whole theme, but it's Santa holding a fountain pen. So you can't put that in a computer, you know. It just so I wrote the ceremonial first letter to my children. They couldn't understand my writing, so took the opportunity when during my recovery from the hip replacement to really work on that handwriting. Yeah. Ordered a $5 book, Calligraphy for Children, and then just started saying like, what should Santa's handwriting look like? And it's so what I do is. What I'm going to do at the beginning of every signing, since I'd mentioned it's not a signing for children, but there's going to be children there. I have this beautiful letter from Santa to me. Let's see if we can break it out. You want to go? Slide that over here. And I'll show it to you as we're talking. And what I'll do is I'll read this letter from Santa. to me. And I think if you have an 8 or 9-year-old on the border, it's going to go a long way. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Ooh, pretty, right? And then explain, it's just Santa asking me, just admitting he can't be everywhere at all times. He needs a little help on the ground. And if he knows about my love for Christmas, and from this moment on, should you accept my heartfelt offer, you will be known by me, the L's, and Mrs. C as Santa Mick. So that's a hobby of mine. So not a cool, like rugged hobby. But again, did I mention I've got some mid-'90s tapes of me being blown up in Japan? Okay.
Okay, let's last few. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, I'm the night owl, the worst. Almost all the writing I've done has been done at night. Every good idea I've had in wrestling, every promo, all the time at night. As a matter of fact, the thing I missed most about the business when I left it was those late night drives. I loved it. I loved it.
What's the last gift you gave or received?
I gave a beautiful Santa coin to a family that I thought needed a little extra attention. They lost their dad, and I was holding it. I was going to give it to somebody here in the city, and then I was like, I only had one. It's beautiful, custom, and it's something I give out to children in hospitals. It's a little expensive, so I can be generous when I'm meeting like 20 kids at a time,
right?
But not like when I do Christmas Magic and you meet 200 or 300 kids at a time. So it was a Santa coin, a wishing coin.
Where do you want to go that you've never been?
I always wanted to perform like on a Native American.
Reservation.
But yeah, I never had the chance. I never had the chance to do that. Country-wise, I texted you and I said, like, man, you can learn a lot by talking to cab drivers in New York City. All I have to say is, excuse me, sir, where are you from? And most people are really open, and then I take it all in, and so it's like, this gentleman was from Bangladesh, and formerly known as Kampuchea, and told me about moving his family to New York. It was a nice story. Like, so I gave him a pretty nice tip for being that way. Yeah. Where haven't I been? I'd like to go to Alaska. It's the only state in the United States where I have not been. I hear it's beautiful there, and really the thing that's missing in my life is the cruise of Jericho. I've always wanted to go on a cruise with Chris Jericho. I've never wanted to watch the Al Pacino movie Cruising with Chris Jericho, just to make that clear.
It's a very different movie.
Very different movie. What shocked me is I saw it on a cruise. Well, I guess somebody must not have realized what the movie was about,
right.
And that makes perfect sense. Why not watch Cruising on a cruise? And I didn't realize that apparently there's a slight homoeroticism in professional wrestling. Like, I was like, perfect looking, hairless men, and I was like the antithesis of everything. Like, this guy Brendan Burns used to say, Mick is the answer to every, critic. It's a homo, Mick Foley. Wrestlers a bunch of idiots. Mick Foley. They're all muscle bag guys. Mick Foley. But in that movie, there was a guy finding great pleasure reading the old black and white wrestling magazines. I was like, never even crossed my mind. Never even crossed. So anyway, that just went off on an ugly way. There's none of that in St. Mick, believe me. I better start signing.
On that note, I think we need to, we're just out of time, so we want to wrap this up. Mick will be signing all of these books and a whole lot more books, and you can get your copy at stmickbook.com. We'll post the links everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, everything. So get your copy. And
may I mention, Jason, I donated the advance for both the writing and the audio to children's charities, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope the book's a big success. I didn't write it with the idea that it would be, so if I don't make any money at all, I don't mind. It's just important to me that people enjoy it, and I'm very happy with it. And thank you for tuning in. and listening. I'm sincerely sorry about the direction the conversation went.
I did like how we ended on Al Pacino and Cruising. That was where we wanted to end up.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you can also, Mick will be doing supporting the book with a tour, so you can go onto his website and find out where he'll be appearing, and I hope you'll see Mick and buy the book and hear some more great stories.
Let's do it.
Yeah.